basically it did what the Ukrainians hoped it would do, which was tie down and attrit Russian forces for a very long time, to be honest, probably much longer than they ever expected. At this point, the Russians had mostly taken their troops out of Mariupol anyway. I think it was something about 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. The Pentagon estimated that they took out, I think 10 out of the 12 BTGs that were in Mariupol had already been withdrawn. So it wasn't at this point like they were tying down a great deal of Russian forces. They have been the focus of a lot of Russian air attacks, from what we can tell, partly because Mariupol is not defended from the air. So that might free up some resources for the Russians to see. It would be interesting to see if they redeploy those air resources. But in terms of troops, I don't think it will make a significant difference because the Russians had already pulled the bulk of their forces out. So maybe it's a symbolic moment, but I don't think it'll make any difference to Ukrainian resistance. The Ukrainians have had a very clear strategy of making the Russians fight for the cities. Yeah, they did that in the first part of the campaign in Sumy and Chernihiv and Kharkov, and they basically said to the Russians, okay, come into the cities if you really want to fight. And Mariupol was one the Russians had to have because that's sort of a key one. And I think it shows that this was a clearly thought out Ukrainian strategy. At this point, the forces in Mariupol for the Ukrainians had sort of done their job. There's not much more they could do. And I think it was also a clever way to say to the Ukrainians, look, we will do our best to get you out. We're not abandoning you. And we will try to help you. But if those troops get out alive and get, who knows where they end up, but if they end up being exchanged with Ukraine, I think that will be a great propaganda victory for the Ukrainians. This is now militarily not nearly as important as it was. And in many ways, the Mariupol narrative has been set on both sides. So it might not be changeable. I mean, the Ukrainian narrative of the heroic defense and the Russians here were about to crush the Nazis in the Azov regiment. I mean, that seems to be pretty set narrative on both sides, so it's probably not going to alter much.